What's up, my Nimbugs? It's Caleb here, and today we're going to be running Fruit through the Gauntlet. Yes, you heard me right. Today we are running Fruit up against 3 different tiers of decks. We're running against Zephrog, we're running against 5 guys, all 5 of them, and then we're running against the champion on the deck to beat Earth Beatdown. And of course, if we're going to have Fruit on the show, we had to get the #1 Fruit fan, Wirtz, on the show to go ahead and run through the Gauntlet. Let's see how he does. All right, let's go ahead and let's hop into our first match here. We've got Wirtz on Fruit, obviously, and I'm playing Zephrog. Wirtz is going to kick it off here with a Rummagem, searching Drataya. It's the bread and butter of the deck. I mean, it's all you want. If he's got an Ambrosian hand, he's actually just insane. We're going to set 2 and pass. I'm going to go ahead and summon Vicerus. It's going to eat a poison-tipped arrow. I set 1 and pass. Not much you can do there. That pretty much outs my board entirely and sets me back really bad. Wirtz is going to go for the Drataya into an Ambrosia, putting 2 spirits back into the spirit deck, drawing 2 cards, setting another 2, and then whacking into a Tsunami for me. I'm going to go ahead and respond with a Galaxy here. Attack declaration, it's going to eat a shield. Wirtz is going to go ahead and swap everything to attack. Astrabbit to just top it all off here. Just an incredible hand on his end here, just drawing so many cards, seeing so many cards. Ambrosia to top it off. It just keeps getting better. Drawing another 2. Gonna go ahead and attack for 3 damage here. Pretty hard up to beat board. I believe he's got 3 cards in hand, it looks like. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna summon Foamy Defense and pass. And he top decked into Latagon, whether it was the 2 draws off of Drataya or the Astrabbit or a top deck. He sees Latagon here. He's gonna use a Latagon effect pop. Gonna go and attack for 4 damage here, and this is likely curtains here. This could be very difficult to come back. You see, I'm thinking through how the hell do I get through this one. Elachik gets Gorgons, and that's gonna be it probably. Like, what are you gonna do? We're just gonna summon Astrabbit here. See another the top 3. Pick his favorite. Swing in for 4 damage. It looks like, yeah, 4 damage. I'm gonna draw. And that's it. Yep, it's a hand full of guys, nothing to do with them. Wirtz is apologizing for how badly he just washed me. And let's go ahead and let's get to a good game here. Let's ignore this one happen. So let's not talk about what just happened. No, we will. So Zephrog is not a particularly good deck, and I kept a hand I definitely shouldn't have. This is very much a lesson in knowing when to mulligan and mulliganing when you should. Even if you see a hand that looks pretty good, if you have that thought in your mind of like, oh, if I draw well from here, this hand's crazy. Sometimes in 10 cards that you see across an entire game, you just see exactly 1 back row. And so, you know, it's a point to, you really should be mulliganing if you think you might need a mulligan. But it also, this game just really showed the potential that Fruit has to just overwhelm if it's able to generate advantage. You know, the clash ended there with me at 0 spirits, obviously, but with Wirtz well over 10, I think, with a lot of opportunities there to really just not have to spend many spirits to gain advantage. And, you know, Drataya drawing, I think, 4 cards across the entire game, Latagon popping, like it really shows the deck in its prime when it's able to just, you know, pub stomp, you know, a deck like Zephrog. So against a bad deck like Zephrog, I think Fruit is just way better. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into our match against Swole on 5 guys here. He's gonna start off his turn with Astrabbit in defense position. If you see an Astrabbit in your opener, it's wonderful to see. He's gonna set 2, gonna pass. Wirtz is gonna go ahead and kick off his turn with a Rummagem in defense position. Also, if you're playing an Earth deck, Rummagem in defense position may as well be Astrabbit in defense position, except for the fact, you know, that it only has 3 defense. But it's, you know, you want to see it. You want to see it, especially here, being able to search out the Drataya in a Fruit deck. Just wonderful. Set 4 pass. This is a very imposing board to go into, but Swole's unfazed. He's going to go ahead and summon that Neckruff, swing into the Rummagem, and he's going to eat a Gorgon's Gaze to prevent the attack from going through. We're passing back over to Wirtz here, who's going to summon Astrabbit in defense position, pick his favorite card. Again, just such an insane card here. Keeping the Rummagem on field also, just having that board presence is really nice, especially when you've got the set Demeter. Just going to go ahead and buff that Rummagem, swing into Astrabbit, which is going to eat the Shield of Achilles. Prevent that attack from going through. Don't want to lose the Astrabbit, potentially want to re-enchant it later. We're going to go right into a Thunderstorm, which is going to blind snipe out the Ambrosia, which was a fake out. And then we're going to go ahead and go for the Sorlet, swapping Astrabbit to attack position. Necroff is going to attack into it, dealing 1 burn damage, and then Astrabbit and Sorlet for 2 direct. Wirtz is going to respond with a Thunderstorm of his own to kick off his turn, and then a normal summon Viserys is going to immediately just put so much pressure back onto Swole, who just cleared his board. And then we're going to Golden Apple of Discord. We're going to go ahead and hand rip. We're doing it again. So we're hand ripping for 2. We're milling 4 from Swole's deck. Swole has no cards in hand from here. Viserys is going to beat into Sorlet. We use the Demeter to buff it. And then we're going to go ahead and summon out our second Viserys in defense. Swole is going to respond with a normal summon Necroff. And then we're going to think really hard about what we want to do here. If Necroff clears one of the Viseryses and crashes into the other, he will get to summon out a second Viserys here. So we're thinking about what we're going to do. Necroff will deal 1 burn damage, clearing the defense position Viserys. Really got to think about if we want to clear this second Viserys on field. Swole's really thinking about it. He's picking it up. He's thinking about it. We don't know. He's going to go ahead and pass from here. It's hard to tell. He's doing a lot of hand gestures. We're sitting here thinking really hard. This is a very hard decision to make. It looks like he is going to go and pass. We're just going to draw, and he's punished for not clearing the Viserys. Oh, no. So both of those Viseryses are going to clear the Necroffs. Wow. What an insanely unfortunate punish. Astrabbit is going to go ahead and get re-enchanted here. In defense position, you know, it's going to eat one of the attacks from Viserys, but we're in a rough position, except for if we look at spirit counts. But it doesn't matter because we Ambrosia back up. We're at 4 here. It's still quite a disparity. 10 to now 3 as Wirtz is going to discard, or he's going to expend a draw. Hits a Golden Apple of Discord. Going to rip. Oh, he rips the laurels out of Swolelax's hand. He's going to attack, deal 1 direct. Oh, no. He's going to go for the Viserys here. So it looks like he actually had a pretty good rip off the top there. Think about what he's going to do. If he crashes Viserys, he gets his own one out, which he's going to go ahead and do. So he's going to go ahead and get one. Wirtz is going to fail to find, shuffle his deck for good luck here. Hope that he's going to top deck something good here. This is such a simplified game state, so difficult to manage. Very low spirit counts here for both players. Going to think really hard about what we do from here, because it's going to be very rough going forward. He's going to Panda Scene, and then he's going to immediately disenchant it for a Golden Apple of Discord with his last spirit to hand rip. And Swole rips an Ambrosia off the top. Oh no, this is the exact punish. Except for the fact that Swole has to expend a draw here. We're going to just attack, pass back into a Nog. Nog's going to draw 2. We got 3 cards in hand. Gotta be something good here. And resting is going to be that thing that we needed. We set 2. We don't have an Alestral, but unless Wirtz hits exactly an Ambrosia off the top, don't know if he's already gone through all 3 yet. That is his only play. And then Swole's going to normal the Swoltuga and take game here. What an insane game between Five Guys and FROOT here. I think it really shows that in terms of like a tiering, FROOT probably lands somewhere around high B to low A. You know, this was able to compete fairly well with Five Guys. I think that Wirtz went with a very risky play that wasn't entirely necessary about mid-game there, where he went and he ripped 2 Golden Apples. And while it did put Swolelax at a pretty big disadvantage in terms of hand, Five Guys just has a better top deck game than FROOT does, because basically any Alestral that you draw is gonna put up a pretty serious board presence, versus FROOT has a much higher potential to either dead draw into like a Latagon or into something like Rummagem, which is a 2-turn setup, into something better. So I think that it was a little bit of a risky play. Didn't end up, it paid off for the short term, but in the long term, Swolelax just top decked better across, you know, 5-10 turns, something like that. So I think it really showed that FROOT has a pretty good potential here. It just comes down to how you're building it, and with any sort of lower tier deck, it really comes down to the micromanaging of the smaller actions throughout a game. Because if you can play your game perfect with a worse deck against a better deck that isn't playing as optimally, you can absolutely take games that you have no right to take. And in this case, it just came down to some minor decisions where, in hindsight, potentially there's an opportunity for Wirtz to take it if things played out a little bit differently. So I think that actually FROOT performed quite well here, and it blew away my expectations. All right, we're hopping in here to our final match, Earth versus Earth, FROOT versus Beatdown, Wirtz versus the champion Distant Coder. We're gonna go ahead, have Wirtz kick us off here with an Ass Rabbit in defense position. I can't stop harping. It's such an incredible way to start. Wirtz showing off his wonderful sleeves here from the Kickstarter campaign, the Foloi Forest sleeves. He's gonna set 3 and pass. Great start. Ass Rabbit in defense, 3. Looks like Distant Coder is going to be mirroring that with his own Ass Rabbit in defense position. Question is, can he match the 3 sets? He will match them identically. They have identical board states here, mirror images of each other. Going to pass on over to Wirtz. Wirtz going to think about his plays here. Looking at those set runes he's got. Going to normal summon Viserys in attack position. That is a 5. It's going to eat the poison tip arrow from Coder. It's going to clear out the Viserys, and he's going to then pass on over to another Ass Rabbit in defense position. You love to see it. You love to see it when you're the one having 2 Ass Rabbits. You hate to see it when you're facing it down, but it doesn't matter because Wirtz has his own second Ass Rabbit in defense position. This is just the battle of the walls. 2 Ass Rabbits in defense, 3 set runes. It's just a battle of who can get to the big guy first. And it looks like Coder's going to go ahead and he's going to see his big guy first. He's got the Viserys with the Foloi Forest, buffing it up to 6 attack. Now 7 with the second Viserys on the field, clearing an Ass Rabbit. This is such a scary board to face down now. So we know that those set runes, none of them are Tsunami, because that would have instantly prevented this board from being as imposing as it is. Looks like we're going to go for the Drataya into a Golden Apple of Discord to discard a random card out of Coder's hand and mill 2. Wirtz discards a Latagon. And we're going to rip an Ambrosia out of Coder's hand. Wirtz hits it, Rise from the Ashes onto the Latagon. An expensive play, to say the least. 5 spirits out of his spirit deck for the Latagon. Into an Ambrosia! So the Ambrosia is going to trigger a draw 2 here and a pop off of the Latagon. And it's going to eat a Gorgons. And there's a second Gorgons for the Drataya! So neither of those effects are going to go through here. We're going to swap Ass Rabbit to attack here. We're going to cast Demeter. Demeter is going to buff that Ass Rabbit up to clear out that Viserys in defense position. Since the Latagon and Drataya were both Gorgons, they can't attack this turn. Drataya is in defense anyway, so it doesn't matter. But Ass Rabbit's going to go ahead and swing into that defense position Viserys to clear it, and we're going to pass on over to Distant Coder. Now, we're going to have a little bit of dead air here, and that's because Coder's going to be thinking really hard about the play he wants to do here. We're on even spirit counts, even amount of Celestials on board, and we now have a ruling question, actually. So we're wanting to know, if you ascend an Ass Rabbit onto an Ass Rabbit, does that new Ass Rabbit you get also get to trigger its effect, even if you're not ascending with a Thunder Spirit? The answer is yes. So we're going to see here in a second is Distant Coder is going to go ahead and ascend his Ass Rabbit in the middle there to another Ass Rabbit he has in hand using an Earth Spirit. And because that Ass Rabbit receives Thunder and Earth, it's going to go ahead and trigger the ability. And he hits a Earthquake off of it. Insane way to clear that Latagon. This Ass Rabbit is now a 3 attacker, and then we have the Viserys, which is a 7 currently. Going to go ahead and clear out Wirtz's board. So Wirtz is going to go ahead and use a Pandasine here. He's going to disenchant the Pandasine to add back that Rise from the Ashes in the graveyard. Going to go ahead and then immediately use the Rise to bring back the Latagon from his underworld. This could do a lot here. It's a big beater, but it's going to run into a Tsunami from Distant Coder. And this is really rough if you're Wirtz here. You're really down on life. Distant Coder can probably clear the Latagon. It's going to be hard to clear an 8 attacker. The biggest he has right now is a Viserys at 7 attack. Currently gaining 1 from Foloi, and then gaining 2 from there being 2 Viserys on field. He's going to go ahead and ascend into an Equilynx. He's going to use Equilynx's effect to swap the Earth from the Ass Rabbit to the Viserys. I'm going to pass from there, pass back to Wirtz here. Wirtz going to think about what he's got. He does not have a lot of life left. He's going to enchant a Leviathan to his Latagon, swap it to attack. Want to play around that Tsunami as a back row. Going to swing over the Viserys here. Latagon is actually gaining attack and defense from Foliage Forest, which means that it's going to be very difficult for Distant Coder here to clear the Latagon with his own Foliage Forest on field, which is why he's going to go ahead and use Equilynx's effect to Nexus on over to a Viserys. He ripped Demeter off the top. He's going to buff Viserys and attack for game from there. What an insane back and forth game. After that game, I might be a Fruit believer now. That game was just incredible to watch. It went just so close down to the wire. Coder ended the game at 1 spirit left in deck. And that's considering that there were 2 activations of Rise from the Ashes from Wirtz that game. So half of his life went to bringing Latagon back from the Underworld. Just an insane game to watch. Super back and forth. There were definitely points in time where both players appeared to be taking control of the game. I think that Coder was in the driver's seat for the most part, but there were the 2 moments where Latagon hit the field and there were other guys present. Just really made it feel like Wirtz had the opportunity to take control. All it takes is the resolution of an Ambrosia, but into double Gorgons, there's not much you can do there. So it just this was one of those games where I think you run this, run a simulation, you play this match a ton of times, and you've got really tight games like this, and you wonder, are they all going to be tight like this again? Did it come down to, that game plays out differently if card was different card, if we don't see double Gorgons, if we don't see Rise from the Ashes. Like, I would love to see this deck played more and more, because I really think that there is I think this deck is maybe a little slept on. I think that it's crazy, it's high rolly as hell, but when you roll high, and as we've seen throughout most of these games, it puts up a pretty good fight. So I think I'm a Fruit believer at this point. I really want to try this deck out more. It's something that I tried really early on in the game, but I want to pick it back up, play around with it. Let me know what you think about Fruit. Do you think it's a meta contender? Do you think it can take down the likes of Earth Beatdown and Thunder Nexus consistently? We'll have to find out. We'll go ahead, do some play testing, and maybe I'll see you in a tournament playing Fruit. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.